Yeah, door jam. You have to get it in. Yeah, went in with a rubber mallet.
It'll work. It'll work.
Yeah, it'll work.
It'll work.
Just get some more. No, I had it. Not but most of it all done. Square.
Gotcha.
Yeah, when I left. So I do that. I gotta go. Pledge allegiance first.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do number, we don't need to elect officers, number 4, adoption of minutes.
So actually, I made a note, there was something I saw on there that wasn't right. You know. Oh, no, it was just on the attendance, Nick wasn't on the attendance.
Okay.
He was here.
Okay.
Oh, okay, I will add that.
Any other discussion on the minutes? If seeing none, have motion.
Minutes.
Second? Number 5, public hearing, amendment to Pittsfield Town Code, chapter rural district use and dimensional standards as a conditional use for the C4 rural district. Do you want to just have a little overview? That way,
Yep.
of what they're talking
You
about?
have here to speak about it.
Okay.
So this was there was a moratorium in effect that the town wanted to put in place to try to work with some of the solar companies on where to put them. We're still getting plans in and calls about solar fields all over the place. I actually, when I just got in tonight, there's one on my desk for another one that somebody wants to put in town. So this was going to the public hearing. This pretty much sets it to the C4 district. And then I'll leave that to the public for their comments.
Okay. Do we have anybody who wants to speak on this?
Good evening, Sean Thies, Pittsfield resident. I was here at your meeting last month, so I don't know if I need to repeat myself, but I think the ordinance is a good idea as far as putting some restrictions on what needs to be done when these things are built. As I said last month, I don't understand why we're not allowing this in the industrial district and limiting it to the C4 industrial zone. Seems like a very acceptable place to put a project like this. And I did look after the meeting last time, because I know we had a little bit of discussion about wind power, and I couldn't see in the ordinance where, from what I could tell, anything up to like 80 feet tall, I think, for a wind tower was allowed in industrial. So I could be wrong, but it doesn't make sense to me that that would be allowed, but a solar panel wouldn't be allowed. And then also we talked about the way I read that, even a building, if it had, if they had solar on the roof of a building, if it was connected into the grid, that would disqualify it from being allowed in the industrial zone. It seems odd to me. So those are my comments. I think the design requirements for screening, things like that are good, but just would hope that we'd revisit where it's allowed in regards to the industrial zone.
Yep, thank you.
Good evening, Glenn Walker with Acadia Energy, the owner of the Lawton Industrial Park that was proposing to put the solar in there. And I guess just to reiterate what Sean said, that, you know, we think that would be a good use for that site. The site has been marketed for quite a while. We told our broker to keep marketing it while the moratorium was in effect. And really, there's just no interest in what's there. So again, we're in there because it works for our use, especially the CMP interconnection there is pretty attractive to us. So that's what we're there, and happy to answer any questions if anyone has any.
Anybody have anything? No?
So I guess our ask would be, anywhere that, you're allowing wind, you'd allow solar.
Thank you. We have discussion?
I think I said my piece last month, but I agree with them. I think industrial park is as good a place as any for a solar farm. And I've heard Brent's concerns about the infrastructure there. And, as far as I'm concerned, if that makes that lot more valuable, it should have been included in the price. I mean, they bought a lot. They should have access to whatever utilities are available there. I understand your concern, your comment. I disagree with that not being available. But as far as I'm concerned, I mean, I don't think the industrial park should be excluded.
Have anything else, Brent? Walter?
No.
This is a public meeting, right?
Yes.
Is there anybody else?
I don't think there was anybody else here.
No one else that wants to say anything about it?
So I guess at this point we close the public hearing and then. Okay. Yeah, we'll wait a minute. Yeah. Evening. You want me to catch up on the speed where we are?
Did I miss much?
A little bit. We're right in the middle of a public hearing on the number 5 amendment to the Pittsfield Town Code as far as the solar.
Okay.
So what's this, does this go to a town council, town meeting as well?
Correct.
Town hearing?
So we have to make a vote first,
Yes.
after we close the public hearing.
After we close the public
And if we
hearing.
vote in affirmative of changing, then it goes to town council to have a public hearing
Correct, which will be in December.
and adopt it.
Yep.
Okay.
No.
So do you have anything you want to discuss?
No, I'd support this.
Okay. Hearing that, no other comments on this, I'll close the public hearing at this point. And we want to do a vote on it now? Any more stuff?
One other thing I want to add, and I said it last time, was I feel like we were presented the project and it was kind of sent back for revisions, and then the next we heard about it was that the town council had voted in a moratorium.
Right.
Then that killed the project for us. So I just don't understand the disconnect on, how they overstep us.
Well, I don't know if I can explain it exactly, but basically, it was their prerogative to put it out there, It wasn't before us, basically, they made the decision, put a moratorium on. And we had nothing to do about that, with that part of it. We're back now where this change has been presented to us. And we either, basically,
This was all the council and town attorney. With this.
I guess I'm just.
Right. No, I understand. I'm just
Disturbance.
trying to explain where we are, it was presented to us. We didn't, as a planning board, we didn't bring this to the town.
I agree. What I'm saying is we had a proposal in front of us.
Correct.
And then white wood.
Correct.
While we're, active. So to speak.
Yeah. you know, that night, you know, apparently that night they were here, if everything was done, you know, to satisfaction of the planning board, it would have been potentially okay that night, and then the moratorium wouldn't have counted on that one.
Right.
I guess that's water on the bridge. Any more discussion on this? So I guess, I need to ask for a motion on this, or we just need to vote on it?
At this point, we vote on it and then
Okay.
it moves forward to council.
Okay. Okay, so I'll ask, we'll ask for a vote on confirming this and sending it on. All in favor of this, sending it on?
So it's gonna be sent to the town council for.
They'll do a public hearing,
Okay,
and if they agree, if it goes to the public hearing, they vote to confirm it, it becomes part of the code.
okay, and if they don't, it doesn't
Correct.
become part of it, okay.
So basically,
Gotcha.
anytime we have to change code, you know, we send our recommendations to town, and then they approve or disapprove. So I'll ask for votes in the affirmative.
Aye.
4, nay? 1. Okay, so it passes right now. Number 6, old business. A resident Bill Barnett at 354 Simpson Street would like to move forward with his rezoning application for gym offices that is in residential street, but would like the zone change to C1 Town Center District.
So with that, there was a change to that. It's actually, or it shouldn't be, it's not gonna change the C1 Town Center District. He actually has a site plan review that I put on the table for you guys. You guys are all well aware of the gym and
Yeah.
what's been going on. So all I had to do is fill out an updated version of the site plan review. Nothing has changed with it. It's been at a standstill for some time.
Right.
So at this point, this is for the 2 small businesses we have here, the King's tax office and the gym. This is gonna be to vote those to go to the public hearing. And then at the next meeting, they will be finalized.
So these will be voted on to go to a public hearing we're gonna have, or the one after?
This is gonna be a public hearing for us to have.
Okay. Does anybody have any discussion on this?
And we have both parties here.
Right.
You know, if you guys have any questions, Nicole King's site plan review is in here as well. I've mentioned it before, it's, you know, she building a office space at her home over on St. Croix Road for tax purposes.
So this is not to change the zone, this is for a special condition.
Yeah, so you remember when we changed the conditional uses?
Condition
At that last meeting.
Yeah, so this
in the
is
existing zone.
correct, so this is gonna make it easier so they don't have to go in front of council or anything like that.
It'll give
So-
us the authority to yes or no at our meeting.
Correct.
So we're technically, right now, we're on number 6, old business, and we'll do number 7 as a legally separate.
Correct.
Okay. So everybody's still familiar with, on the industrial park, one of the zoo, or not the industrial park, but we always think once we turn on, it's in a residential park.
Yeah, might as well.
So the direction is we're doing a conditional use.
Yes. Anybody have any questions for him? I know you're probably getting tired of telling the story.
I got 3 years.
I guess I just got, we've already had a number of presentations.
Right. That's why I just, it's out here just in case somebody else has any questions.
The site plan.
Right. You don't see anything on their side, okay?
No, I mean, this is to go to a public hearing.
Yes, this, so we'll pay it before the council public hearing.
So are we we're gonna have a public hearing in the planning board and then another one in the town council?
Nope, no,
Just one?
just one.
Okay.
Yep, so that's when we had changed that ordinance and under conditional uses. This is,
And that passed.
yep, that passed, so this cuts out the council from having to go through their steps of everything, so it's all up to the attorney.
So we have a public hearing, everything goes well, this comes back and we approve it.
Yep.
So have we accepted all this, the site plan? We just received this, right?
You just did receive that. He had already submitted one previously that you guys had looked over. Jacob requested that there would be an updated one on file. Since it's been, yeah, it's the same, since it's just been so long.
Okay.
Yeah, I think most all this looks familiar.
Yeah.
So, no more discussion? We'll ask for a vote on this. All in favor? Aye. Passes. And we'll go to number 7, new business. Resident Joel King at 255 Snake Road would like to open a tax office at their property located at 247 Snake Road. It is in the rural C4 district. Are you familiar with this? At McGowan was full house.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Okay.
We could have carpooled, Walter.
You could have.
Save money.
You want to get up and just give a little presentation on what your plans are?
Well, I'm going to work at my house. That's my plan. If you guys have any questions, it's a private tax office, so it's by appointment only.
Right.
I deal with higher profile, bigger corporate clients, so I don't have a lot in way of traffic. Thankfully, I wouldn't want them traveling down the Snake Road too. For anybody that's been up there lately.
We don't handle that part. We don't take care of that road.
No, I talked to Bonnie about it. No, basically, I was leasing a space in town and financially it really didn't make sense. There wasn't any good spots available that I wanted to invest my money in, so the best use of my money was to utilize the land I already had.
So how close is this? Because you're gonna put up
I have already put up.
a small building. Okay. How close to the residents is that now roughly?
My residents or the neighbors?
Well, I guess whichever one is close.
Both. The neighbors is closer, so it is kind of up against my property line. But I came to the town first to find out what my setbacks were and everything before I built. So everything was within code. Although one of my neighbors thinks I'm very nice, she's not super happy about something being next door and has called Russell several times. I think she'll get over it.
But essentially setbacks are met. That's what it comes down to, correctly? Okay. Just a couple curious things. Are you gonna have separate electrical entrances to this facility or?
I do, I have, as far as electrical
Right.
goes, yeah, I have a secondary pole being set.
Okay.
Yep, that should actually be in this week, so that will be powered.
Do you have any questions?
Is it a shared well? Is
It
that,
is a shared well, yeah.
okay, yeah, a shared septic field as well?
Nope, I put in a brand new septic and leach field there.
Okay, so that, when you describe that, beach field, that's for that.
That's for that
Okay,
specific
good,
building
good.
only. Yep,
Good.
yep, that was one of the fun parts of the project.
So all the business that you did in your leased business or rented space in town before, everything will move into that business, correct?
Yeah, it's currently in my basement.
Okay.
Yeah,
Right,
so, yeah, I will move into that business. I don't have a lot of it is not gonna be traffic, like traffic coming onto the road. I'm on the road a lot with clients, a lot of stuff is done. I mean, I certainly have some people come in. I've taken on some individuals when I came back in town.
Right.
Some of the elderly people in town. needed assistance, although individuals is not what I typically do. They come and visit me during tax season, but
Question, why is this a condition?
So it wasn't, so she's trying to open it as a business, and it, under conditional uses, it wasn't there before, which limited what people could do. And
daycares were, but accountants are, and I can assure you that I am a lot more boring than a daycare. And a lot more fun.
It's just the way I'm reading it, but it seems like there's a category that makes sense.
yeah, and
It's just the way I read it.
yeah, so that's why we changed the low intensity use to make it just as feasible for the gym as for any other business. That would have to come in front of you guys for approval, making sure that like she puts septic in, she's doing everything legitimately. It's technically a separate lot. Well,
It's
yeah,
for 911 codes to like be up to DOT standards.
Right.
Because of the distance from my driveway to the second entrance, it had the 911 address, but I mean, from the town's perspective, I suppose it would be one piece of property. It's listed, you know, map and lot.
There's one map.
Under 250.
Okay. Because to have a separate lot, you'd have to have, yeah, acceptable amount of road frontage and, yeah, which is 400 in the row, 200.
I would categorize it myself as like, I mean, if you took the whole property, if you were looking at the property from, you know, as a whole, a home with like an in-law,
Right.
you know, I mean, that would be what the property would ultimately be. Due to the zoning and knowing that I could run into trouble and not waiting for that to be passed, I essentially built it as a one-bedroom cottage. So it's up to residential specs. So in the future, I mean, it would be basically a home with an additional detached living, I guess.
What did you do for heating? Heat pump?
I'm putting in 2 propane monitors
Okay.
and heat pumps.
Okay, I was just curious.
Being in the energy industry for 17 years in the state and covering most of the state, and going into accounting, I wouldn't trust heat pumps to heat solely. I mean,
Correct.
they're great for backup, but if we get a real main winter, it's gonna be cold with a heat pump.
Do we have any other discussion? Anything else? No? Okay, I'll look for a vote on this. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Passes.
A woman on the planning board, let's say.
We're always, we've had a number in the past. We would not refuse your entertaining an offer.
I got enough on my plate right now.
Keep it in mind. You know, primarily it's generally
Also knows how to reach,
one day a month, or one evening a month.
preferably not on a holiday, when the
Well.
town office is closed. Russell.
Okay. And any discussion items? Anybody have anything on their own? No?
I got it, on the web road, I see that, have you cleaned up?
correct.
Who did that?
So we took that to court, finally got approval to clean it up as of a certain date. If it wasn't cleaned up by that date, he started working on it. He got a lot of it done. The town stepped in, finished it after, I think it was October 3rd. So as of right now, there's attorney fees, and I'm not even sure of the exact cleanup cost, but it's going to be added as an extra tax, a special tax to the property. So if he sells it, or, which it sounds like that's what he's trying to do.
So the town has incurred the cost to dumpsters or whatever.
Yep.
Tipping fees,
Yep.
and
Yep, it's totally.
Is this person still there, or is he?
No,
lives
he
elsewhere?
is last I know, I believe he's in southern Maine. And I've had a few calls about people interested in buying it. They were trying to buy it off of him. They were doing their due diligence and finding out that there was gonna be a extra tax added next year. So I think a few people
what do
back
you mean an
there.
extra tax?
like special tax added to the property for the lawyer
It's
fees.
almost like a lien.
Yeah.
Right, doesn't need enough to recover.
Right.
Yes,
For
yeah,
anything.
to clean up on the attorney fees. I know the attorney fees were, say, give or take around 7,500.
Mhm.
So he's responsible for all of that as of right now.
Was that made through council or through code enforcement? Or?
That was made through the attorneys and we pushed it in front of council and they agreed.
It's good, nice. Okay, but it's unfortunate it got to that point.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't get to that point.
No,
Again.
it shouldn't, and
No.
it's, yeah, it's.
And
it's
but
a
that
painful-
predated you, so it's, but that never should have happened.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Okay, does anybody in the audience have anything else, or anybody have anything to speak? No? No, you're all set? Everybody okay? I'll ask for a motion to adjourn. All in favor? Right, thank you.
Yep.